All right, well, welcome everyone. Here we go. All right, pre-K to grade 6 science take-home packets. Jeff and I are so excited to be able to distribute all 11,675 pre-K to grade 6 kids, these quarter 3 and quarter 4 investigation packets, not only with the materials they'll need, but as well as recording sheets to be able to take their data down for science, which we know is so important in our science teaching. We wanted to start with this quote: "Science is a way of thinking much more than it is a body of knowledge." That's definitely indicative of the new standards when we think of they're no longer identify and define. They are much more based on analyze and model, and be able to explain, give evidence for what is happening. And how we do that in science is by doing science. Those are part of our standards, our science practices. So as we go through the packets and how we would like them to be used, we want you to keep in mind that these aren't hands-on investigations. These are science practice investigations. This is how we get our kids to think and act and write and observe like scientists. They're not just hands-on play time for our kids. So keep that in mind. So the table of contents, what we're going to go over today, we're going to start with an overview of the packets. We're going to walk through where you can find the information for the packets and the materials, talk about the expectations of how to use them. You're going to have minutes to explore your grade level packet. And then we'll have time for live questions at the end. So overview. By January 25th, all of the Wish Public School students from pre-K to grade 6, again, that's almost 12,000 kids, will have their grade 3 and grade 4 packets at your schools. Your distribution will then be done by your coach or your admin team, however your school is deciding to distribute them home to kids. These are for third and fourth quarter. Again, we're calling them science practice-based lessons, not just hands-on. They do include all of the supporting materials you will need, as well as the recording sheets for them. As you think about how to implement this in your remote or hybrid classroom, if we get there, given the school committee vote last night, we want you to think about this idea of a synchronous sandwich. And really, we're thinking small group, station rotation. This is how we see them being used. You start off your lesson, if you're remote or hybrid, with the whole group together on screen. You get your learning outcomes, your learning goals, your objectives, right? All of that, the agenda for the day. Then your students would go into small group rotation possibly, or if you're remote, maybe you have them all together in one group, and they're going to go ahead and do that investigation. This is that synchronous off-screen time. And what we're saying by off-screen is this doesn't have to be a digital activity. If your whole group, everyone could be doing the investigation on their own. They're coming back to report to you what's happening, or to hold up what they build, or to show you their recording sheet. But they really aren't on screen doing a digital activity. If you are hybrid or remote, you can also do small group rotation, where you have 3 or 4 of them, 5, 6, your class size, doing the activity with you for 10 minutes, and then they switch to another activity, and the next students come in to do the activity with you. So that's another model that you could follow. Again, you guys are the professionals in your classroom. You know how to manage small groups and station rotation. And then at the end, of course, you're bringing everyone together to follow up, maybe do an exit slip, some kind of a formative assessment. Did we meet our goals for today? Having students self-assess, and then moving on. So we're coining this the synchronous sandwich because we really want you to remember that the good stuff is in the middle, and that doesn't have to be a digital activity. It can be hands-on for science, what we're calling science practice-based. You're going to get a copy of the slide deck, and in it you will find the links to all of your particular grade level units. Now, if we had been doing this live like we had wanted, we would have clicked on your grade level, walked you through each of the packets, but you're going to have time to do that in a minute. These are the packets for quarter 3. You can see organized by grade level. Here are the packets for quarter 4, again, organized by grade level. What we do want to point out as a whole group is that there are some similarities between each grade level. Each grade level starts with a cover page And it will tell you what grade level and what quarter that packet is for. Then the next page is the science safety page. Maybe you'll have your kids write their initials or sign this page and upload it. However, you might show that, okay, we're going to be responsible with the materials in this packet. One, we're going to keep them safe and hopefully not lose them. I know it's not going to happen for everyone, but hopefully for most. But also to make sure that they're, not eating and drinking with them. They're not using the cups for other things. They're not putting other materials in their mouths. You might want to go over this with parents or caregivers as well. So it's kind of like our lab safety contract. And each grade level has this for each packet. So the next thing in the slides is the list of materials. Again, this you might share with parents. You might share with other grade level teachers if you are departmentalized. So if you're departmentalized and you have the math teacher, you might share this with them to let them know that these are the things that they have in their kits. I think second grade has rulers. So the idea that they might be able to use some of these materials for their classes as well. Or you might send it home and share with parents to let them know, like, this is what is in your bags. So expectations, how do we want you to use these bags? Well, one, we want you to use them. We want you to use the materials. We want you to use the investigations that we're providing. We want you to use them synchronously with students. We want you to use them in the classroom with students if we go back. What we do not want this to be is an asynchronous Friday, go do something in your science packet. That's not what this is about. This is really about making sure that our students are getting our science practice instruction, that they're able to think and observe and draw and write and diagram and model like scientists. That is the purpose of these packets. They are all tied directly back to the standards. They're all tied directly back to our science practices. And we want to make sure that we're using them like we would in school, or it's not playtime, or it's not go ahead off and do this on your own. It's really that guided instruction with students to be able to guide them through the scientific process. So again, we are asking you to use them and the investigations in that way. So not for asynchronous Friday, go play. However, if you go through the packets, you're going to get the PDF version. You're also going to get the doc version, which means you can edit these digitally however you would like. And so if you choose to edit an activity and have the students use the materials in a different way, that's perfect. We are all, that's amazing. We love to see your creativity. We wanted to make sure that we gave you the pre-made lessons in case you didn't want to do that or just didn't have the time to do that. So one, please use them. Two, as you're using them, collect evidence of student participation. So this evidence could be pictures or videos, pictures of student work samples that they're uploading to you in classroom or wherever it is. Anything that you can think of that would be evidence that the students are engaged in the scientific process. This is going to help with our funding sources to be able to show that we're using these materials appropriately. Also, what we want to do is showcase the science instruction that is happening in Worcester Public Schools pre-K to 6. And so what we're going to do with your evidence is at the end of each quarter, we're going to make a Google site. And in that Google site, we're going to highlight the schools and the grade levels and the amazing things that are happening at each school. If you are getting pictures or videos, please get necessary caregiver permission because, again, we're going to be sharing this publicly. However, we're not looking for multiple pieces of evidence from each teacher. What we're asking for is from each school that there is one piece of evidence from each grade level for each quarter. So for example, if I'm at a school that has pre-K through 6, I would have 8 pieces of evidence for third quarter total and 8 pieces of evidence for fourth quarter total. So if you have 4, third grade teachers, if you're a larger school, then only 1 teacher would need to give evidence for third quarter. Could you give more? Yes, absolutely. We would love to see all of the things that are happening. But we know that you have other things to do. So we're asking for 1 piece of evidence per grade level, per school. Where do you put them? Right here in the shared Google folder. You click on this link. Just go ahead and upload your evidence right into the folder. It's going to be empty now because, well, we haven't done them yet. So again, please use them, not for asynchronous Friday playtime. Collect the evidence of student participation. Get that necessary caregiver permission if necessary, and go ahead and upload that into your shared Google folder. And again, of course, we'll send you an email with more directions. So in a moment, we're going to have you do a packet exploration, which means you're going to have time to go in and look at each of your quarter packets for your grade level. We're going to give you kind of a little scavenger hunt as you're looking through them. Before we do that, some things to mention. If you are pre-K and kindergarten, we inadvertently forgot to put the instructions for the dolls that you'll see. So you'll see that in each of the packets for pre-K and kindergarten, both in quarter 3 and in quarter 4, there are these dolls where we thought you would be able to use the different items to talk about how you would dress appropriately for the weather. However, what we forgot to put in the packet were the instructions. So we are linking them here. And again, you may choose to use this for the instructions on how to use the dolls. You may choose to use something else, and that is just fine. It's all about just using the materials for science instruction. And so this is what we were thinking, and then you might share this digitally with students. If you are grade 4, transfer of energy, what we had planned was for you to be able to use the solar toys in this lesson. However, we could not get the solar toy. So what we do have is the solar powered keychain. And in the solar powered keychain, you can still do the same investigation. Just know that it says to use a solar powered toy for mechanical, solar to mechanical energy. The keychain is going to go solar energy to light energy because it's going to light up and give them phrases. I think some of them say LOL, some of them say great job, some of them say you're number one. So they're using the solar powered keychain rather than the solar toy for that investigation. Grade 5, materials and their properties. We have our chemical reaction and physical reaction investigation. So you'll see we have Alka-Seltzer and Kool-Aid. The students are getting the balloons. We're assuming they can get some kind of an empty bottle, soda bottle, water bottle, or something at home. We could not get approval for the Kool-Aid or the Alka-Seltzer. The district purchasing department would not let us purchase them. We did our best. We made, told them how we're using them for science, but it just wasn't going to happen. If you are so inclined, if you have, let's say, a class of 25 fifth graders, they would each need 2 Alka-Seltzer tablets to do the experiments. That is about $17 for you to buy the box. Maybe you could convince your principals to help support you on that. We did let them know that this couldn't happen. And then again, the Kool-Aid, they just wouldn't let us send it home. So we apologize for that. Okay, so now what we're going to have you do is we're going to have you go to the link in the chat, which will have the copy of the slide deck. And we're going to have you go to your grade level packet. And we're going to have you do a 5 to 6 minute scavenger hunt. What can you find in your packet? Can you find evidence of students asking questions? Can you find evidence of students modeling? Can you find evidence of students predicting, and so on? And then we're just going to come back, talk about what you found, and then answer any questions. So again, in the slide deck, you're going to go to packet quarter 3, find your grade level, packet quarter 4, find your grade level, and go ahead and try to tell us, where do you find evidence of students doing these things?